Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Boots on Bigfoot. We recently went on a camp out at the Alberta Habituation site, one of the more well-known Bigfoot hotspots here in Alberta. This is where I've previously filmed all of those fancy tree structures that we've seen pretty much everywhere online over the past decade. When I arrived, a couple of the members of our group were already there, and they were all set up with their equipment and their tents, and the fire was already going. And we basically just hung out and gathered some wood to last the weekend, and then it wasn't long before a few others showed up, including my friend Keenan, who has been featured in multiple videos on this channel before. We spent most of the evening around the campfire catching up with each other, and we also chatted about how we wanted to go about researching on this trip. You know, usually when activity happens in this area, it usually happens right near the camp. Bigfoot or Sasquatch or whatever you want to call it, they like to sneak up to the camp area and observe from the cover of the trees. Last summer, the group was in the same spot and they had rocks thrown towards the campfire from the darkness of the tree line. And afterwards, in the daylight, the group discovered some substantial footprints, including actual knuckle prints down by the creek, which is literally a stone's throw away from the camp area. Pun not intended.
I always light it when we come here for good, kind of like a good luck. So sage, cedars, sweetgrass, and in the more southern parts of North America, they use Palo Santo or something like that. Anyways, the story from like the First Nations groups is that the Creator gave this to them as a form of medicine. So sage is used as a form of purification. So normally you'd say a prayer thanking ancestors, thanking Mother Earth, and thanking the Father Sky. Mm-hmm. And then you would use the smoke. So the idea of the smoke is twofold. One is that it carries your prayers to the Creator, and secondfold, sage is used to cleanse negative energy. And so different groups believe that negativity is carried in different places. So the people that taught me how to do smudging taught me that negativity is primarily carried in the lower back. Lower back? You have to assume that that's kind of partly from...
The next day, we all went off in different directions and we were basically just exploring the area, looking for new things, looking for new structures, trying to find footprints and things of that nature, things that are out of the ordinary and things that stick out. And, keeping our eyes and ears open for the hairy man himself. But the interesting thing is that the main tree structure that I've documented many times before is actually come down and it's on the ground now. It has collapsed. It has been, it's either fallen down naturally, it's either been taken down by people, or it's been taken down by Sasquatch. It's hard to tell, what actually happened, and we'll probably never know. But this isn't the first big tree structure to come down. If you guys remember way back in the day, the one with the horizontal log that I filmed, that one had come down and it had fallen while I had a trail camera aimed at it. I had a camera out there for months. And it didn't capture what happened. It didn't capture the falling of the structure. So it's still a mystery, which is, a real shame. I wonder what has been happening, if it has been wind or like the trees swaying, which causes the structure to fall down, or if something actually went in there and made it collapse. It's just weird because that main structure, that teepee looking one, it felt like pretty sturdy. When you looked at it in person and you tried to grab hold of those logs and move them around, it felt like it was built really well. So it is kind of strange. I feel like that one probably didn't come down naturally. It had to have been someone or something that took it down. But anyways, you can see here in these shots, it is on the ground, and very unfortunate. I'm just out here, split off from the main group, exploring up the hill in kind of the direction where supposedly weird shit's been coming from. And it's kind of eerie being back here alone. I'm hoping to find structures. The main tree structure that was here, the main one that's always been featured in like a bunch of different TV shows by different people. It's actually on the ground now. It's not even standing, so it's the second one to fall over. And you know, sometimes with time, that's just what happens. But of course, there's a possibility that something or someone is responsible for it being on the ground and not being a structure anymore. But I'm kind of going off trail here, traveling east, and I am looking for anything peculiar, anything that stands out. And I'm obviously also looking for Sasquatch itself. Supposedly, rumor has it, there's more structures like back in the woods all over the place apparently, so there is a possibility that we'll find something. I came up to this high point here, and I think it's the highest point in this general area, but there's actually some flattened out spots on the ground that are definitely flattened out from something being there. The question is what? Could be anything, but tactically, like, this high point would be a great spot for, you know, Sasquatch to post up. So who knows? Who knows? So yeah, I did find some weird, what looked kind of like bedding areas where some sort of animal was lying down. It could be anything. It could be like elk. It could be the wild horses. It's really hard to tell. I didn't notice any hair or any strange tracks around these bedding areas, but it's just something to, you know, document and to put on the shelf, because, you know, it's really hard to say what was lying down in a certain spot if there's no footprints or anything like that, or hair samples collected from the area. But afterwards I moved on, and I ended up coming upon a little tree structure, and this is one that I've never seen before, and I'm not sure if anyone else has seen it before. It's small, but it's very peculiar, and the trees and like the sticks and the logs in it are woven together in a very peculiar way that really sticks out, and you can see it in the footage here. Like, the structure is substantially smaller than the other ones. It's still bigger than me. It's taller than me. I believe somebody, like a person obviously, would be capable of making something like this. The logs aren't overly heavy, but it's weird. It's weird. It's weird looking. It's peculiar, and it feels more genuine to me than a lot of the other ones. Now just look how these logs are kind of woven together in this shot here. So I don't know. And there's lots of these actually scattered all over the place. Like, if you really go looking, there are structures all over the place, but still like concentrated in this general area. What does it mean? What does it mean? Who is making them? It can't just be a coincidence, I don't think, that, you know, all this Sasquatch activity happens in this area, and it's also dotted with these weird, bizarre tree structures. And this wasn't the last one we would find on this trip. Anyways, that's all I have for this video, guys. Be sure to tune in for the next episode of Boots on Bigfoot here at Mountain Beast Mysteries. We'll see you next time.